Okay.
Okay, that's perfect.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So, thank you for coming to Japan again. You keep coming back. And
Yes, I do. They keep asking me.
You know what? The people in Japan, especially in front of you, saying like, he must have a second house or something in Japan.
No, I should get one there. I think it's a little too expensive in Tokyo, but maybe outside. No, I love coming here. Unfortunately, I always work here a lot, so I only have like half a day, sometimes a whole day, where I can see other things, but I will try to expand on it next time, so I have a few more days.
Right. So aside from you have a best friend, Hideo Kojima in Japan, what do you like about Japan the most?
There's a lot of things I love about Japan. Obviously the people. I think they're fantastic people. I love the food. I love your history. And I love the fact that you are so proud of your culture. I think that is a very important thing that not all cultures are. I've said it before, I mean, in Europe there is a tendency that we kind of beat ourselves with our culture. We should be proud of it. And so I think I admire that you guys are sticking on to being proud. Even though there's terrible things happen in the past, doesn't mean you can't be proud of your culture. So that's a fantastic thing.
And seeing this film, it was fantastic, and especially
cool.
I really love your character. It's so cool,
nice,
and so deep. And I was really surprised by how you great and good at singing. I didn't know that you have such talent.
That's very sweet of you. I didn't know that either. I've never sung before. This is
really?
My first one. Yeah.
Really? I really love to hear that how many ways or so many different styles of you sing bye bye.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's like me, like bye bye, or it's like kind of like bye bye.
We tried a lot of variations just to have some differences. So yeah, it's a playful song, but it's also a bitter song. He's obviously just lost something that was very dear to him. So it's a funny combo of bitterness and playfulness. Yeah.
Are you just seeing more opportunity to sing on stage?
We'll see. I'm not ambitious about it. I think there are tons of fantastic singers out there. They should keep their job. And there are tons of actors who are much better singers than me. So, but if it comes my way for some reason, I'm up for the challenge.
His voice was so amazing. He's so cool, so deep, low.
Yeah.
He speaks like a villain. But
yeah.
I don't think he see himself as a villain.
No, I don't think in history a lot of villains in history saw themselves as villains. There is a tendency to always think you're on the right side of history. Of course, there were a few out there that knew that this was just for their own benefit, but a lot of people who have done extremely villainous things in history did have a vision that a lot of people shared, but it's always about the road to get there. If you take the wrong road there, it's not gonna be pretty.
He was just showing his dignity to his group of tribe, but yet he has to be a villain for this movie. So how did you take balance between making villain or making this stand alone?
No, I think it's not that difficult. I mean, from the very get-go, before he's actually done anything villainous, something terrible happens to him and his life. So that's a good gasoline for him to be on a revenge train, so to speak. And I think he's a lion full of bitterness. He's an albino lion. You don't survive in the animal kingdom being an albino. So he's been kicked out very, very young, and he's survived by himself and became extremely formidable by harsh times. And he found equal albinos who's been outcast as well. So he's already has his own background story of being somebody. It's one of those kids nobody else wants to play with. He also loses his parents or his tribe, Mufasa, but through his optimistic worldview, he gains new friends, new family, right? Curious has a different perspective of life than Mufasa, so not that different of an upbringing, but different approach.
Well, do you think he deserves his own standalone, at least like short film about?
It could be fun. I think we don't need it that much in the sense that Sky is a big villain in the first one, obviously, and now we get to see how Scar became Scar.
Yeah.
And that I think is a very touching story and also very recognizable of, you know, this young lion who's just dying to get a brother. He gets a brother and they have a tremendous time, and then he realizes that I'm not the hero, I'm not the brave one here. And it does something to a lion's sense of his surroundings, right? So that's a very beautiful journey for the Scar character as well.
So speaking of Scar, it's quite funny that he was performed by Choi Tae-joo. You and him were together in the Doctor Strange movie.
Oh, is it? Oh, is it him?
Is that right?
Is it
Choi Tae-joo?
Chiwetel? Is it
Yeah,
Chiwetel?
Choi Tae-joo was playing Scar.
The younger version, or the older version?
The older version, the previous film.
Oh, the previous one?
Yes.
I get you now, I was just getting confused here. Yes, that is true. Yes, that's many years ago.
It's like cycle of life.
It is. There is a lot of overlap sometimes in the business. It's fun for me because I'm not American that I actually have some overlaps with people now. In Denmark, there's always constantly an overlap with us. But it's fun to. I didn't know that. You're right. That was Chiwetel.
This is quite interesting that Kiro's teeth design comes from your actual teeth.
So I hear. Yeah.
So
Interesting.
I guess you are the first actor who influenced the design of Disney character.
Well, for once my teeth are coming in handy. I think that Barry had the ambition of, he didn't want to humanize the lions to a degree where it become weird, but he wanted some traces of the characters. He wanted them to look like real lions, but he wanted to have the characteristics of some of the actors.
This is a prequel of Lion King, so I like to think about having some more prequel to the character you have played before.
Yeah.
And this is a Disney film, so let's say Kaiselius or Galen Nassau.
Yeah.
What would you say if you can play them again?
Yeah, which one would I pick of all these guys? There's something interesting about. I've done Hannibal Lecter, obviously. There was something interesting about seeing what kind of kid was Hannibal.
That's interesting.
On the other hand, maybe we don't want to see that. Maybe it's so much better that we don't get to see that. That is not an excuse. That's not a reason why he is what he is. He is what he is. Right? I like it here with Scar. I really think it deserves the explanation to how he became Scar. But some films we shouldn't.
You voiced the Danish version of Monsters Inc.
Yes.
What do you find most interesting about voice acting?
When we do that, we do the Danish version of Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
Then I will try to get as close a copy as much as I can, the original one. And that was, in that case, I believe it was Steve Buscemi who did it.
Yeah.
So our job is to copy that as much as we can and then make it personal. But in this case with Mufasa the Lion King, it was completely different. We didn't have anything. We have maybe one sketch, and then we started doing a scene, and they would go back and work. But they would come with some animation, just a little. Then we will work again, and they would go away again. So we were here from scratch. Very, very different dynamic to imagine what it's going to look like, as opposed to have everything there. It's just an honor to be in a Disney film, and they've been around since way before I was born. And they've done so many classic, legendary films now. And so being asked to be in one of the original ones is that's amazing.
Amazing. And in this film, did you consciously adapt your way of speaking to make it different from human character?
Yeah, I think we did. There was a certain pace to it. Everything is a little larger than life. Obviously, I wouldn't, if the camera was on me, on my face, I wouldn't be dragging it out like he is. But because we are not on the camera and the animation is on the camera, we can heighten everything. We will see all the actors. If you have behind the scenes where you film them, when they're doing the voices, everybody is very animated and sitting down and screaming and doing all kind of things. Stuff they would never do in front of the camera. But because this is a lifted universe, we allow ourselves to go there. Yeah.
Based on what I saw on Instagram, do you have a dog?
Yeah.
So you are a dog person?
I'm all animals. I mean, I've had cats as well and dogs. And if I could have a tiger, I would have a tiger. My dog's name is Messi. Because of Messi, the football player. And it's a girl. So here you go.
I grew up watching Lion King, the original animated film, so I'm so excited to see how all these things happen. What kind of connection do you have with the original version of the Lion?
Well, the same. I didn't grow up with them, but my children did. Especially my daughter was right smack on her age. Later on, my son. So I've watched it hundreds of times on the DVD or the Blu-ray or whatever we had.
Right.
And it's a fantastic film, and you never grow tired of it. It's just a classic, and it's that generation's classic. There's always a classic for each generation. Then it was Frozen for someone else. For me, it was The Jungle Book, and so I have that. It became one of my favorites as well.
Would you tell me about the theme of this film?
Well, there's a lot of themes in the film. For me, the heart and soul of the film is the relationship between the brothers, Taka and Mufasa. And Taka, who becomes Scar. There's just something beautiful about that. It's almost Shakespearean in the way that they are so close. Then little things happens, and the personality of one of the characters is eating him up from inside. The jealousy, the hate starts building. It's very Shakespearean, and it's heartbreaking to watch. But I think that is the main theme for me. Mufasa does not want to be on the throne. Nobody wants to be on the throne, but some lines are chosen. So that's the way it is.
That's interesting. Thank you. Okay, my time is up. Thank you very much. So now we're gonna take a photo.
Let's do it.
With that, yeah.
With my thingy.
Okay, perfect.
Got it?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.